So, dear Shambra, we have another situation with your freedom. You're at odds with your soul. You're at odds with your soul. Your soul wants freedom, but you don't. This desire for your own personal freedom is coming from your soul. It's not coming from you, your brain. The human aspect is so conditioned to lack of freedom that it's basically accepted it, but your soul is calling out that all of you, the body of consciousness, your heart, whatever you want to call it, it wants its freedom. And you are holding it back, and it's pissed. You are holding your soul back from having freedom because you're part of your soul, and you're not letting it have its freedom. Can you imagine how pissed your soul is? You're holding your soul back because you're in this human condition, lacking freedom, and actually accepting the lack of freedom. On the other hand, you are blaming your soul indirectly for your lack of freedom. You are blaming your soul. I know it because I hear you saying, well, it must be some divine plan. There must be the overlord of my human self called my soul that's manipulating things and directing things that I have no influence over. So therefore, the soul is some controlling being, and someday I may get to meet and may get to reconnect with, but what a son of a bitch that soul is for doing this to me. The soul should have written out what was going to happen in my lifetime. The soul should have kept these bad things from happening to me, that freaking soul of mine. And it becomes just another excuse for not having freedom. You're blaming it on your soul, and your soul's pissed at you. This is not a good situation. This is a conflict, my dear friends. And I'm glad you can laugh about it. You have to be able to laugh about it. But it's very true. It's very, very true. You have an ongoing battle with your soul. You blame it, it blames you. So what are we going to do? What's the answer? I'll tell you what the answer has been up to now, and I'm going to push you on this. I'm going to push you to go beyond the up to now answer. The answer has been, I'll just go back to my human ways, and I'll see what happens. I'll see what happens tomorrow. Maybe if I wake up and suddenly my soul and I are friends again. You've been trying that one for many, many lifetimes. It doesn't work so well. So what's going to happen? Yes?
Put the soul in charge.
Put the soul in charge.
Is that it?
Yeah, but why don't we put Jesus in charge? Why don't we put God in charge? I tell you what, let's deny.
Put ourselves in charge.
Put ourselves in charge, because you are your soul, and that in simplified forms is the answer. You are your soul. You just don't think you are. You have separated it like you've separated your body and your mind and your spirit. You put your spirit, your soul off someplace else, and you've bought into all these stories about eternity and heaven, and even though you're wise enough, but you still go back there. You still have that little nagging religious aspect that talks about eternity. You're trying to get a good room in heaven sometimes. So as long as there is a split in the body, mind, spirit, nost, everything else, as long as there's a split in your human self and your aspects, there are going to be, in this type of conflict, and occasionally even a war with each other. The moment you realize it's yourself, you are your soul. Pretty scary, isn't it? You want it to be something grander. You want it to be something big and magical. You actually want it to be an overlord of some type. You want it to be this grand beings with big wings. Can see through walls and read minds and tell the future and all the rest of that. It's not like that. Yeah, too bad. You say, well, then what the hell are we doing all this for? Because the mind has conveniently manipulated it to make the soul into something rather big and complex. Because, see, that's where what the mind likes. The mind likes big, it likes complex. It makes it feel important. But underneath, your mind is screaming out for freedom. It can't handle it anymore. That's a good thing. There's so much energy on earth right now. There's so much going on. The mind is going into overload, and it's screaming out in its own way. It'll fight you on it, but it's screaming out. It wants freedom. But freedom, to the mind, it associates with death. And it's not really that way. The mind integrates. It blends with it, melds with the body, the soul, the spirit, whatever, and it becomes your own one. Your sovereignty, your freedom, you. So, dear friends, it's time to talk to yourself. Talk to yourself as body, mind, spirit. Every part of you wants its freedom. Every part of you wants the integration to occur. No part wants to control the other part anymore. No part really truly wants this separation anymore. And it obviously starts right here. It doesn't start with the overlord soul, because it's you right here. It starts in this moment of allowing yourself this integration, this sovereignty, this becoming your own one. I would ask you to feel into your personal freedom for a moment. How you move beyond the old concepts of body, mind, spirit, Gnost. Freedom is your birthright, is your soul right, and your human right. And while all of this uprising of freedom is taking place across the world and with Gaia herself, I'm asking you about, are you ready? Don't think about it. For a change, don't think about it. Just feel into it. Beyond the Makyo, it's the I am. It's the I am.